Okay, been a few changes. Let me just try and sculpt a head while I talk. So the main thing I've been working on, which I'm kind of pleased with, is some stuff for blend shapes. So I'm going to do my usual sort of ugly head guy, but also in terms of like being able to do proper faces. One of the things that was missing was being able to do eyes. I'm also recording this on the MetaQuest just because I had some questions about some performance on this. This is in standalone mode. It's pretty good for me. So I'm not sure what other people were having issues with, but let's see what happens. So I'm going to make this, let's pull it out so we can see it. Scale it down to be sort of an eyeball shape, and then switch to the grab tool and put it roughly where it should go in the head. It should probably be a bit smaller. So transform a bit smaller, like that. Okay, and we'll grab it to put into the head. So now from the scene menu here, you can set up parenting. So this is the child, this is the head. So if I go set parent, and I can choose that, now that is a child of the head. But the other thing I can do is I can mirror across X. So now I've got two eyes, and I can also lock it. So if I lock it, the eye can't be selected. So now when I go back to the head, I can just sculpt. So if I go back to regular brush mode, I can sort of just try and sculpt up this a bit. She might even go a bit stronger and reverse out. So I'll just punch out a hole like that, and then I'm going to build up some eyelids like that. I'll use a bit of a crease brush just to sort of sharpen that up. Oops. So I get a bag like that, and then I'll build up a bit of a eye ridge like that. So there you go. We've got the basics of of eyes. Oops. Just build up the nose a bit more quickly. Lovely. Cheeks stuff. And then the other sort of fun thing I've done with the eyes is if I go back and sculpt on the eyes now, so I can choose it from the menu here. So I can just go and go say move, and I'm just going to do a very small brush and just sort of try and knock out a bit of a hollow. Actually, no, it is locked. Yeah. So unlock it, and I'll lock the head so I don't accidentally grab the head. I'm just going to do a bit of this. So just try to make a bit of an eye hollow. So what you can see is if I actually bring up the transform for the eye, these now both rotate the same way. So usually in other apps, these will be mirrored, but these are now only positionally mirrored. But if they rotate correctly. The other nice advantage of this is I've got another silly thing where if I go back to the menus for the hierarchy and turn on saccades, they will do this little eye dot thing. So you can be creeped out by your sculpt as you're doing stuff. I've also got tools to set up an aim at constraint, so I can make a null and I can aim them at the null. Let's see if I can get that working. So if I go null, and I'm going to transform that out. So brush, whoops, transform, I pull the null out so it's sort of out in front, so there. And then I can make the eyes aim at that null. So if I go back to the sphere, you can see this is actually updating the saccade transform, which is pretty cool. But I can go and tell it to aim at the null. So now they're aiming at the null while they're also still animating. So I can grab the transform for the null, and I can move this around. You can see that they follow, which is pretty cool. So I'm starting to get little bits of animation support in here, which will be fun. Other thing I'm doing is trying to get more support for blend shapes. So if I go back to sculpting on the head, so I'll just put in a bit of a, oops, that's still locked, silly. So I put in a bit of a mouth. Ugh. Let's just assume this is good enough for a mouth. Do a bit of that, a bit of that. There, that's fabulous. And then I want to do some blend shapes. I've got a new blend shape panel here, so I can choose this. There we are, and it brings up this panel here. So the idea is that you can go add, and you get a choice of the default AI kit style thing. So this is where I'm kind of heading with this. So if I want to make, say, a mouth smile, for example, I can add mouth smile. Now I've got it there. And now when I sculpt, I'm sculpting into this blend shape. So I might go into just the move tool, and I'll sort of pull it up like that. I can now sort of play with the slider, add a bit more volume through here. I can play that some more. Maybe lift the eye bags up a touch. get this to go like that to go like that. So let's say that's cool. Maybe lift the nose up a bit as well. I can't help it. So there you go. That's my shape. For ARKit to work, it actually needs this to be split into a left and right. What I've done is, because that's always a pain to build, you can just press this button and it will now split it into a left and right shape. So that's now left and right. It tries to get a nice sort of fall off across the middle. If you want to keep sculpting on again, you can press on one of them and they get merged back into a single shape. So that's pretty cool. So you have all these shapes set for you. There's a lot to go, but it's kind of getting there. The other thing I was playing with, which is kind of cool, is posing. So, oh, pardon me. So if I delete this, delete the eye, and even delete this guy, I'm going to actually go and reset my scene. So I'm going to exit VR. Please hold, and I'll reset. I still have to get the reset of the scene a bit more elegant, but I'll get there. Okay, so back to a default sphere. I'm going to turn on wire. And I'm going to use the subdivisions modes. Ignore that stupid boundary thing, which will be black on your screen. So I'm going to go down through the levels, and I'm going to reverse out to get right back to more, yeah, to there. And I'll delete higher. So now I'm going to use the low poly sculpting tools. So if we go back to the toolbox, go down to here. So use extrude, and I'll do some arms. I'll do 3. I'll do a head. So this center one by default will be kind of joined across the midline. So it's amazing. I'll do one more for torso, scale it all down a bit, and then I'll do the legs, but I'm going to turn off keep together so they can be separated out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. So there's my amazing character. So I'm going to, actually, I won't get too involved in this. I'm just going to go to the menus here. I'm going to delete higher, and then I'm going to sort of add a few times. So I've got a bit of mesh to play with. So what I'm starting to play with tonight is this posing tool. So the idea, we've got to fix up that name, but the idea is simply you click to start the pose, and then click and drag somewhere else, and you can pose. So this is obviously very heavily influenced by the ZBrush anchor brush. But so far I'm kind of digging it. So you get that kind of stuff. If I turn off symmetry, you can do all kinds of like sort of wacky posing like that. Maybe give this guy a foot now. Give him a foot over here. So it's pretty good for sort of fast posing actually, because you can both pull and twist in VR. It does work in PC as well, and in iPad. It's just not as sort of fluid as this, but this is pretty cool. I'm pleased with this. So I'm going to keep playing. There's obviously a few issues. I'll keep refining. But yeah, they're the main things. I think I showed you the animation graph editor support earlier. So if you're doing animation, you've got this panel now. So if you have blend shapes, they will appear there. Yeah, more things are happening. So there you go. That's my demos for today.